What is going on, trainers? DrumVillain here, bringing you some more Pokemon Go Battle League PvP content, and today we're talking about a single type cup team, and this is an immensely powerful team, I believe. I think it's one of the strongest teams in this cup that you can use. It's very, very effective. It's working very, very well for me currently in Go Battle League, taking a ton of wins, going very, very, very positive with this team so far. But obviously, the cup's leaving in a couple of days, so I wanted to get this video up pretty quick. So it's a relatively short video, just a couple of sets of battles using it that I've got recorded. Now, a big part of this team revolves around taking advantage of one major flaw in the single type cup meta, and that is going to be that flying types just aren't here. There aren't any pure flying type Pokemon that can get in this cup. I think the only normal, pure flying type Pokemon currently in Pokemon Go is Tornadus, and you can't get that thing below 1500 CP. So you haven't got to worry about flying type whatsoever, and this creates two distinct advantages for certain Pokemon, and that is that ground type damage, there's nothing to double resist that. Ground type is fairly safe as a damage output source, and also it means that grass typing in general is quite safe because it doesn't have those flyers to worry about, and also grass types tend to struggle to inflict damage to flying types. So this means grass, ground are very, very strong. And what's one of the best underutilized Pokemon in the Great League that likes grass and ground damage? It's going to be Meganium, that has access to Earthquake and Frenzy Plant, two very powerful, versatile coverage moves, especially once you take flying out of the equation. The only things that are going to be resisting both Frenzy Plant and Earthquake are going to be other grass types, which is going to be a neutral matchup anyway because grass on grass, and bug types, which bug types are just not common in this meta. There aren't very many single bug type Pokemon anyway, and they're not viable in this cup, to be honest. There might be one or two that have some play, but they're just not out there. You're not running into them, you're not seeing them, so you don't have to worry about them. Meganium's generally very, very safe in this cup, as well as being fantastically strong. We are going to opt to put Meganium in the back because it makes a slightly better closer in games than an opener, because when shields are down, if you get it in a bad matchup against a fire type or a poison type, the Earthquake is going to one-shot them. So you're in a much better position in general once you got down some shields on your opponent's side, so they can't shield up a Muck, they can't shield up that Ninetails, and actually you get the Earthquake through and ruin their day. On the lead, we're going to opt for something that's going to be resisting that fire damage, because there are quite a lot of Kanto Ninetails on the lead currently, Shadow and Normal, and that's going to mean we're going to go for Dragonair on the lead. Dragonair, again, very, very versatile in the Great League in general. Dragon Breath's a very, very powerful move. Body Slam and Aqua Tail are a great pairing of charge moves. So, Dragonair on the lead, hopefully catching fire types, take advantage, and then we're also going to run Cofagrigus in the back, just because this thing's so powerful. Yes, there are quite a lot of Umbreons out there, but honestly, there are games that we win here, even when we don't get switch advantage and Cofagrigus is landed with Umbreon, we're still able to win matches just because Meganium is so powerful and able to take such an advantage against so many Pokemon in this cup in general. Okay, now as we said, moveset wise, Dragonair, running Dragon Breath, Aqua Tail, and Body Slam. I do recommend those moves. I don't think other moves are what you're going to be looking for in this cup in general. Meganium, you need the Legacy move Frenzy Plant. It makes it so powerful. You do need that move. It's very, very strong. And then Cofagrigus, we're opting for Shadow Claw, Shadow Ball, and Psychic rather than Dark Pulse. And this is just because you want the absolute one-shot damage potential of Shadow Ball, and you also want Psychic to be able to deal with those poison types that are often lurking in the back. You're going to be able to want to one-shot Muck when it comes in. I've seen the odd Nidorina that you're going to want to one-shot as well. So I think Psychic's definitely the way to go as well. So if you're new around here, I want to keep up to date with me and videos that I'm uploading. Hit the subscribe button if you like this team or any of the Pokemon on it. Maybe you've been putting Meganium to good use already yourself and you've been waiting on more people to talk about it. Hit the like button, helps me out massively with the channel. And let's take a look at some actual matchups and some nuances of the team and how I like to play it and why I think it's so powerful in general. The rough way this team's going to play out is, ideally, you run into something on the lead that either Meganium or Cofagrigus loses badly to, like Kanto Ninetails or Umbreon, and then you get them out of the way, clear the way for the two Pokemon in the back to sweep. So, first matchup we're going to talk about just that situation, the Umbreon lead. Now, Umbreon does beat Dragonair in the Great League. This is a rank 1 Shadow Dragonair, so kind of the optimal situation for you in terms of IVs and stats and stuff like that. And Umbreon is going to be able to win this matchup because it's so strong. But you're going to be able to do a lot of work on this thing and really chip it down and make sure that it's not going to be in Cofagrigus' way in the end game. So I tend to like to shield up once in this matchup and then try and get 2 body slams off. I don't recommend you shield the first move no matter what, because they're not going to be able to one-shot you. So I would let the first move go through regardless, then shield up the second one. They tend to commit a shield as well and match you. Then I let Dragonair go. Umbreon is very low at this point. We're going to bring in Meganium and just Vine Whip down. Yes, they're going to get to a foul play. That's completely fine. We don't mind. Let them hit us. It does a third of our health, maybe, not quite. And you're going to get so much energy. We've got an Earthquake loaded at this point. They've only got 1 shield. Let's throw the Earthquake. What are you going to do? You're going to get wrecked, Muck? No? Okay, we get the shield. That's fine. Now we've got shield advantage. Umbreon's out of the way. Gramble's in the back. So you know what we're going to do? We're going to one-shot with Shadow Ball. Then we can shield at Cofagrigus, get to a Psychic, and take out Muck. And yes, Meganium didn't serve much purpose in this end game, apart from it got the shield with the Earthquake, which is very, very nice for us. But this is the thing. Cofagrigus and Meganium are such a powerful pair. They're both tanky. They both got amazing charge moves. And one of them is going to be able to sweep most of your end games for you if you know where to commit 1 shield to, even if you don't get switch advantage. Now, there aren't many leads you're going to want to swap out of with Dragonair, and this isn't one of them. Cofagrigus, I recommend you stay in and just play this matchup out and see how it goes. Of course, you want to throw Aqua Tail and not Body Slam like I do here. Do not do this. This is a mistake by me. They don't shield. This is not a good situation. That is a mess up. But if you throw Aqua Tail, it won't KO them, but then they'll be a little bit lower and you have a bit more versatility of what to do in this situation. But we're going to throw the Aqua Tail and they're going to let it go through and take them out. So we've gone down a shield, which isn't too bad in this situation. I think against a Cofagrigus lead, it's worth going down a shield, getting switch advantage, seeing what they've got in the back. They come in with Shadow Muck. That's fantastic. We can keep Meganium away from this thing. Plus, it's pretty much wiped out because they let that Body Slam go through. What they got in the back, Regirock. Fantastic. Meganium's going to go to absolute town with the Frenzy Plants. Yes, we're at a shield disadvantage, which means Regirock will be able to take out Meganium. Those Stone Edges come through fast. This is a Shadow Regirock, so these Stone Edges are hitting pretty damn hard. They're going to have to shield up these moves, though. And we're going to be able to put the work in to then where Cofagrigus is going to be able to land a Shadow Ball or a Psychic or whatever and take them out. And we're going to be able to take the win because that Muck that's still alive with a bit of health in the back as well is low enough to be Shadow Clawed down before it gets to a move to take out our Cofagrigus. So we're feeling pretty good in general. They're going to catch on Muck. This seems like the worst case scenario. We're throwing a Body Slam into a Cofagrigus. They've caught a charge move on their Muck. But you know what? The damage is done. They've got energy here. They're going to hit us. Almost take us out because, again, Shadow Regirock's going to hit like a truck. No, we're going to lose him. P-tie? Wait, is Meganium still alive? What did we do here? I thought we won this game. Yeah, of course we did. Meganium still had a sliver of health. Vine Whip down. No stress whatsoever. We nearly threw that game away with a few misplays, but the team still managed to pull it out because Meganium is scary to a lot of Pokemon in the back. Registeel lead. A little bit more unusual in this cup I'm finding, but they are out there and you are going to have to learn to deal with them. Now, nothing on the team has a particularly bad matchup with Registeel, but nothing has a fantastic matchup either. Yes, Meganium has Earthquake, but it takes a long time to get there. They're going to be getting to Focus Blast. I don't shield this because I wasn't sure if they'd throw Zap Cannon and try and bait me for like getting the debuff and stuff like that. So I let it go through because even though they took us out with Focus Blast and then Lock-oned us down, we did a ton of damage. We got the Registeel very, very low. Yes, it's swapped out and it's loaded into a Charmer, which I'm not sure if that means they're trying to bait out like a Muck or something like that. Potentially, I suppose, because swapping in a Charmer is pretty unusual in general in PvP, so it might mean they have 2 Charmers in the back. We're going to go for double Frenzy Plant. We get both shields out of them, which is very, very nice for us. We're going to shield this up. Meganium's still got health. It's still got work it can do in this game. We're going to shield up, preserve Meganium, swap out into Cofagrigus, and go for a Shadow Ball to take out this Clefable before it gets to another move. Let's see what this opponent's got in the back. We got about mid-health on Cofagrigus, about a third of the health on Meganium, so some potential. Registeel's going to dump the energy they gathered. It's a Zap Cannon. That's fine. They get the attack debuff. That is not fine. But Gramble in the back. This thing's super squishy. Go for the Shadow Ball. Hit them super hard. Doesn't take them out because this isn't Shadow Gramble and we're debuffed. We can Vine Whip them down. Get to an Earthquake on the... We don't even need the Earthquake. We could have just thrown the Frenzy Plant. But why not throw the Earthquake while you've got it? We know the Registeel's dry, we take them out, we take the win, GG's. Double Charm in the back can be very oppressive and hard to deal with if you've not got a Steel type, but you know what? Doesn't bother us. We can still take that win with this team because of the bulk that Meganium and Cofagrigus both bring to the table. Onward, once again, Umbreon lead. We're pretty happy to see this on the lead because, again, we can keep it away from Cofagrigus, and if you manage to take out the Umbreon on an opposing team, that thing has got so much play in the back against pretty much anything else that's going to be here. Very few other Dark types are really usable or viable. They are out there, but you're unlikely to see it in the back when you've got an Umbreon on the lead. So, I'm going to use one shield, as we said. I recommend use one shield in this matchup. They're going to shield twice here, and that makes it very tempting to stay in, give up our second shield and try and take them out because we are close to another body slam. We're not going to do that, right? We're going to save the shield because it can be super vital to Meganium getting to an Earthquake in a bad matchup. So we're going to bring in Meganium, take the foul play. We don't care. It's not going to do a substantial amount of damage. Let it go through. Build up excess energy, pretty much as we can before they get to another foul play. And we're going to take them out. Let's see what they come in with and see if we can in fact sweep. Kanto Ninetails, awful situation. Throw the Earthquake, we already had a bit of energy. We're not going to have to give up that shield that we've clung on to this far. Doesn't quite take them out, but the damage is done. They're very, very low. Yes, they have a Weather Ball stored. They threw about 4 fire spins, so they do have a Weather Ball. So we've got to bear that in mind. Hypno's in the back. The opponent surrenders. We don't have to bear it in mind. It's all over. It's sorted. GG's. Of course, at that point, we could have farmed down Hypno with Cofagrigus. We could have farmed down the Ninetales, even with the Meganium, since we still had a shield left over. So we're a very strong position left at the end of that game. Right, another Cofagrigus lead. So the game plan here is that I like to commit one shield in this matchup. You're going to get to an Aqua Tail before they get to a Shadow Ball or a Psychic. I do believe they get to Dark Pulse at the same time. Is it 6 Shadow Claws for Dark Pulse? I might be wrong on that. Not 100% sure. But I like to commit one shield because this charge move is going to hit like a truck no matter what it is if you let it through. And this means we can kind of get switch advantage if we want. We just Dragon Breath all the way down. That's fantastic for us. And you see we bring out Umbreon. So against Cofagrigus leads, I do generally recommend you try and get switch advantage because keeping Umbreon away from Cofagrigus does so much work for you and your team because it's so strong against everything else. Dragonair is going to put in a ton of work on the Umbreon first as well before they even take us out. That's fine. They've got excess energy, which is threatening to Cofagrigus, not really threatening to Meganium. They swap straight out to Registeel. So, what do? We just bring in Cofagrigus, and we're not going to shield it. No, we don't care. Do whatever you want, Mr. Registeel, because we're depending on Meganium to sweep this game. Yes, this opponent's got 2 shields. They're apparently going to cash them all in on Umbreon, which is completely fine. We don't mind. Umbreon's foul plays take a long time to add up. Against Meganium, the Registeel doesn't shield up at all. They let it go. They're committing in to completely loading up on energy with Umbreon. They're hoping that Umbreon with a shield advantage, despite not having very good health advantage, is going to be able to take the win. We let the first move go through, and it could have backfired because they threw Psychic rather than Foul Play, and if they'd have got a defense drop, then the Snarls and 2 more Foul Plays might have added up a little bit more than they are going to now. So we're going to let this move go through as well. Still not feeling particularly threatened. They still need to get another 2 charge moves off. We've got 2 Frenzy Plants here. We're going to be able to get this last shield and take them out, and it's going to be a GG. Albeit a little bit of a closer game than some of them have been, but still very comfortably handled just by keeping Cofagrigus away from Umbreon and just sacking it to the Registeel. And like I said, they might have made a slight misjudgment, not shielding a Shadow Ball on their Registeel, might be able to put more work in against us. But either way, we're going to take a 5-0 set there with this team, and as you can see, it's against meta lines, it's against Umbreon leads, Cofagrigus, Registeels, they're all in here, and we're still handling the teams no problem. Okay, so maybe you guys are now wondering, what do you do against a Charm lead? We're obviously going to be safe swapping out of this situation, but which one? We're going to safe swap Meganium against Charmers. Both Cofagrigus and Meganium make fantastic safe swaps, in theory, in general in this cup. But there's a lot of Umbreons, which means Cofagrigus isn't that good of a safe swap because there's so many Umbreon. Whereas there aren't very many hard answers to Meganium in this cup. So I find it makes the best safe swap. It was worth shielding up the charge move from Clefable because they did charge up for a Moonblast, and Moonblast does hit pretty hard. So we got a ton of energy. Umbreon comes in, and Umbreon struggles against Meganium. Like, Umbreon is good. It's very powerful, relentless, consistent dark damage in the Great League. But Meganium is a very powerful grass type. And you can take foul plays pretty comfortably. They need to land at least 3 to take you out. And we're going to get to these Frenzy Plants super fast. We had a ton of energy already stored up, so we're going to be able to take the Umbreon out. They're going to choose to give up, switch advantage, and not keep Clefable locked against Dragonair, which I think is a mistake on their part. We're even going to get to a Frenzy Plant here and do big damage if they don't choose to shield up, which they are going to. Now we've got Cofagrigus lined up against the Clefable, and then Dragonair for whatever's in the back. And as long as it's not a Fairy type, we're looking very good in this situation. They are going to get 2 charge moves off here, so we are probably going to shield, because if it's a Moonblast, would take us out. It's not, it's another Meteor Mash, no worries. And they've got Sudowoodo in the back. Nice and spicy Sudowoodo. Was not expecting to see that here. It's got really nice moves. Counter, Rock Slide. Great Pokemon in general, but a little underutilized. But they've got no shields. So we're going to Aqua Tail him into Oblivion. We're going to get farmed down by the Clefable. It's not going to give him enough energy to matter. We just dump a Shadow Ball into this. Take it out. No worries. If the Umbreon had committed both shields, we might have been a bit closer of a situation, but saving our last shield for Cofagrigus would have still allowed us to probably sweep that end game regardless. Right, Shadow Gramble, same plan. Swap into Meganium. Guess what's going to happen? Umbreon comes in, and if the Gramble had have stayed in a little longer and charmed us down maybe like closer to single foul play range, we'd have been in a bit of a sketchier situation here overall. But they got us down to the point where they still need to land 2 foul plays to take us out. And we had so much energy racked up at this point as well. Look at how fast these things are coming through. We figured we'd throw here rather than 1 Vine Whip later, because we knew the Umbreon was about to throw another move. We take them out. 0 shield situation, yeah. But we've kept a Charmer away from Dragonair. We've kept Umbreon away from Cofagrigus. So we're looking very strong in general for our position. In this game, we're shielding up the crunch. We're just going to farm down this thing entirely, see what they've got in the back, and it is a Hypno. I think that was. I'm sure I saw the confusion animation come through there. It is. It's Hypno. Right. So we dump our energy. We're going to swap into Dragonair, and we're going to start throwing Dragon Breaths. The main thing in this situation is to not throw so they get a free confusion through. They let a Body Slam through. They could. I don't know if they'd have got to 2 charge moves before we get to 2 charge moves here. I think it'd have been close, but it doesn't matter. They're going to take out a Dragonair here. Maybe if it's not fun, it's Thunder Punch, doesn't matter. If there'd have been an Ice Punch or something, we might have been able to Shadow Claw them down anyway with Cofagrigus first. Very close game, but GG, and shows that you can get away from these charming leads, and oftentimes you have Umbreons in the back. So say swap Meganium. That's all you need to know. It works out majority of the time, I'll say. Not every time, but a lot of the time. Okay, Ninetails lead that swaps straight out into Primeape. We stay in with Dragonair for way too long for them to get to a Night Slash. I don't know why we did this. You just swap out. You swap out either to Meganium to use it so it's not getting stuck against the Ninetails, or you swap straight out to Cofagrigus and threaten them with the Psychics, because you can take a Night Slash very comfortably. They have to land 2 charge moves on you, so you can threaten them for shields first in that situation. But we don't. We end up getting Dragonair super low. We've got Cofagrigus in. It's locked in into an Umbreon that comes in. And so we're going to have Meganium locked against the Ninetales in the end game. So there's nothing we can do here. The Umbreon's going to get such an energy advantage against our Cofagrigus as well, because we're quite low. We just surrendered the game there because we just made an absolute shambles of it. Just, if you're swapping Primeape against this team, bring in Cofagrigus or Meganium. Doesn't matter which one. Just bring in one of them and fight for switch advantage. Or at least, if you're swapping Meganium, just use it up so it's not stuck against the Ninetales. Another Cofagrigus lead. Once again, I believe it's worth giving up a shield to try and get switch advantage in this situation, just because of the chances of there being an Umbreon in the back. We're going to get a shield out of them though, which I find is unusual. They don't often shield them, the Aqua Tail Cofagrigus. So we're going to obviously return the shield, and we're going to go straight for the next Aqua Tail, which they catch on a Vigoroth, which you could look at as good or bad for us. We're going to do a bit more Dragon Breath damage, try and catch a Body Slam on Cofagrigus, which we failed to do, but does not matter. Vigoroth isn't threatening to Cofagrigus even with a ton of energy. We can still take a Bulldoze very, very comfortably. Build up a bit of excess energy here. They're going to actually throw a Body Slam here. We don't mind. We're just going to let it go through. We actually should have thrown 1 Shadow Claw earlier because we're still at 100 energy here, so doesn't matter. Throw the Psychic, take them out. We try to undercharge. It still takes them out. Doesn't matter. Their Cofagrigus is going to come back in. We win a CMP tie to throw a Psychic off. Very, very nice for us. Are they going to shield it up? Yes, they are. Right. We'll let this go through. Say the shield from Meganium. See what we can do in the end game. I'm going to bring in Dragonair here just to Dragon Breath them down because this thing is a little far out of Vine Whip range, and we want the energy, we get the energy, very nice. We save the energy, swap out Muck. This would be a devastating situation in terms of alignment, but guess what? We've got a shield, they don't. We've got Earthquake, they don't. Well, it wouldn't matter if they did Muck with Earthquake, whatever. Throw the Earthquake, wipe them out, one shot, doesn't matter. GG's, game's a good one. Okay, one more matchup to show you guys. We get Shadow, Kanto Ninetails on the lead. Sounds great, right? They swap straight out into Dragonair. And that's kind of scary because we don't have a solid, hard answer to Dragonair, apart from our own. So we're going to build up to the Body Slam, throw it because we're one turn ahead on energy because they had to swap out at the very start of the game. So we know we can throw Body Slam first, then swap straight to Cofagrigus. We can commit one shield here and just Shadow Claw them all the way down. We're still on even shield scenario because our Body Slam forced their Dragonair to shield at the beginning of the game. Here comes Umbreon. This isn't looking good. So we've got Umbreon locked against our Cofagrigus. We know they've still got a Kanto Ninetails back there as well. Our Dragonair is a little bit low to the point where Ninetails could threaten it as well. But these Shadow Balls are adding up against Umbreon. Look at this. We're going to have Umbreon in single Frenzy Plant range, which is a ton of work to have done considering that they've just farmed us down. Yes, they've got like 100 energy, but that's not that threatening to Meganium. We can take two foul plays. In fact, they throw Psychic first as well. Then they swap out to the Ninetails. We bring in Dragonair. Yes, they're going to farm us down. That sounds super scary, right? It is, to be honest. But we're going to throw the Body Slam instead of Aqua Tail. God knows why. They farm us down. They might have two Weather Balls, but they don't quite. Can we get to this Frenzy Plant? 1, 2, we do. We get to the Frenzy Plant. We're going to take them out. Fantastic. Because Ninetails is pretty squishy. Get take out by that. We're not low enough to be in single foul play range. We know the Umbreon's energy dry after they throw this move, so we should just be able to get to this Frenzy Plant very close. We're going to take them out. We're going to take the win. So even though we had Cofagrigus farmed down by Umbreon, Kanto Ninetails on Meganium, and Dragonair got kind of used up against the opposing Dragonair for at least a good part of it, still able to take the win just because of the bulk and power of these two Pokemon. And that's going to conclude today's lesson on why Meganium and Cofagrigus are amazing in this cup, as well as Dragonair. Don't sleep on Dragonair, it's very, very powerful as well. But the bulk and power of Meganium and Cofagrigus cannot be denied in general. Fantastic pair. Give them a try if you haven't already. You won't regret it. Super strong Pokemon. So let me know what you guys think of the team down below. Thank you so much for watching this far. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button. And as always, I will catch you absolute legends next time.